What's your connection with the author John Conley?
Well, I met him years ago. He doesn't know it, but it was at Ron Nick's town that he was having over on the Agua Fria. It was Stuntman Rodeo. That's where I first met him. Then he ran into me again. Can you hear me the first time? Or do I have to turn this thing on? Is it on? Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I ran into him on the Agua Fria. Not many people knew about that, but when they had a band playing all by themselves out there on the Agua Fria, and I looked and I go, where in the heck am I going? And then finally I hit an old western town, which was great. And that's where I first met John. And then he met me at Mary Brown's years later when I was doing a show there. I did Western art. But if you want to know anything cowboy, I can tell you a cowboy story. And how far do you want to go on this guy?
Well, and you actually did the artwork for the book as well.
Oh yeah, I did the book, and I wanted to do the artwork for all the cowboys and cowgirls that we've lost. You know, like Richard Farnsworth, Ben Johnson, Gene Autry, Roy Rogers, Dale Evans. I loved all those people. And so at the back I did a painting called So Long Part. I did that. I did the cover for him because I wanted something that shows that all of us that are here are heart of a cowboy, all of us. And so John, I can't thank him enough for doing the book because a lot of my friends, before we meet John Wayne and the rest of them, they were in the book. And so I get a chance to really enjoy it.
How's it going, Joe?
Oh, it's great. Great. Your microphone works good when we can use it. Or remember to use it.
Use it, there you go.
So what's your connection with John Conley?
Well, I met John probably right about 5 years ago, right when he was starting the book, The Heart of the Cowboy. And I remember the first time we met, he said, you know, Pioneer Pepper, he said, I'm coming back in the saddle. And we're actually going to do that song for him tonight, Back in the Saddle, because of that memory I had of him 5 years ago when he said, I'm back in the saddle. And this is a project that he said he really had a heartfelt. And I think I first met him at the Festival of the West. He came and saw one of our performances over there, and that's when he officially asked me to be in the book. And it's just quite an honor to be in his book.
That's great. What does the cowboy life mean to you?
Boy, there's a lot of answers to that one, isn't there? But you know, one of my first childhood memories growing up, I must have been 5 years old, my first childhood memory that I still remember to this very day was listening to my father's old '78 record of the song Tumblin' Tumbleweeds. From that moment on that scratchy old '78 record, I knew that's what I wanted to be when I grew up, was a singing cowboy. Instead I became a police officer just west of Chicago, Illinois, but 15 years ago, I turned in my badge, I went from cop to cowboy, and it's been an incredible adventure ever since. And we've toured all over the world now, and bringing the great American cowboy music all over the world has been just a blessing.
You and I have worked together quite a bit, and it's always an honor to see you.
Oh, it's always a pleasure, Joe. Always a pleasure.
So, how do you feel about cowboy celebrations? Think there ought to be more of them?
You know, I think there should be more. It's you know, it's not only important to keep the American dream of the cowboy alive, because everybody has some cowboy in their hearts. In fact, that's why the title of his book, Heart of the Cowboy, is really right on target, because everybody has some cowboy in their heart. And this is not just in America. Around the world, everybody has that. And I think it's important that we keep this tradition, this type of life, and this type of dream alive. Because, you know, if you look all around, the pioneers, the cowboys were the people that forged ahead, took the risks, and made a difference in this world, all across the world. That short little era of the American cowboy, I think, should never die.
And who are some of your favorite cowboys and cowgirls?
Well, my favorite, you know, I had two childhood heroes growing up. First was my father. He was a harmonica player. He used to entertain the troops back in World War II. And I learned a lot of my entertainment from my father. And number two was Roy Rogers. I've always admired a man that walked the walk and talked the talk. And Roy was that kind of person for me growing up. And of course, Dale Evans, having her as his wife was always one of the thrills as well for the cowgirls. For me, I thought she was a doll.
Well, thanks for helping us out here.
Oh, it's a pleasure and it's an honor to be here. I said, and Thanks again, Joe, for
And
everything.
you're gonna be all over the world.
Well,
As
yes.
soon as they get this done.
Also, too, we are also opening up our own dinner theater in Wild West Town. We're on the final negotiations with our investors for that. It's going to be here in Arizona. Right now, it's called Pepperton Pass, and it's going to be a venue that's going to keep the traditions and the way of the cowboy life alive. So that'll be coming up real soon. So watch for it coming out there, and I'm sure you'll be a part of that too, Joe.
Cool, thank you. So how you doing, buddy?
Good.
Good.
So,
We made it.
Yeah, and what's your connection with John Conley?
About 3 years ago, John called me on the phone out of the blue, and I was in a group called Justice and the Montanas in Southern California, and we sang at a couple of end-of-trail cowboy events and around Southern California up in Victorville. So I don't know how he heard about us, but he did, and we just started talking, and I sent him some information, pictures, and
I think maybe he saw that Seal Beach, California cowboy band, Justice in the Montana.
yeah, and he probably couldn't
And he
believe
told-
it.
yeah, he couldn't
He
believe
said,
it,
"This
yeah."
can't be true." But I'm glad he did. I'm glad he got in touch with us.
Okay, so anyway, tell me, what does cowboy life mean to you?
Cowboy life means freedom to me and a sense of responsibility. I've never been on any ranch or any drive. I work out here at the White Tank Stables from November through April, and it gives you a purpose in life, keeps you going. There's nothing like working with animals. Love working with horses, and they're all different. They're just like teenagers. So they've all got their own personality. So it's a great time. And there's nothing like being on the back of a horse that responds to you and you respond to the horse. You're like one, and it's a lot of fun.
It's more fun than 86-degree weather too.
Well, you know, I know fall is coming sometime.
So who was your favorite cowgirls and cowboys?
My favorite cowboy growing up was probably Gene Autry. Even though I didn't think that the acting in his TV shows were very good, but the scenes were great. I love watching the old westerns. Not because the acting is so good, because they do the scenes now that you can't do anymore, apparently. I also like Ben Cooper a lot, who never really made it to, you know, the upper echelon as a big star, but he was always in a lot of movies as kind of a sidekick, especially with Audie Murphy. So I like Ben Cooper. I liked Lash LaRue, basically because of his sidekick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe.
Appreciate it very much.